Osu set to kick off. And we're underway in Pasadena. And the Bruins will bring it out to the 25-yard line. And that means we start with Nico Iamaleava. Tennessee transfer. He's already lost more games than he's lost in a long time between Tennessee and his high school career.
Yeah. I mean, this is a whole, of all the players playing college football, this might be one of the big stories right here. A playoff starter a year ago, 0-4, talked about how he transferred. When you watch tape, though, you're impressed with how tough this kid is.
No doubt, especially on the ground, and he is their leading rusher as well as their top passer, obviously. Empty backfield. And now joined by Anthony Woods. And he'll get the call. And broke one tackle. And a nice run and a gain of about 6. So we take a look at some people to watch today. Last week, Rico Flores coming back from an injury, and he made his presence felt, and they want to get the ball in his hands. And on the other side, Dominique DeLuca with Tony Rojas out, even more pressure on the linebacker and the 3-time Nittany Lion captain defensively. 2nd down and 4. Quick slant complete, the 1st down. Out to the 44-yard line to Quasi Gilmer.
Yeah, I think what you'd be asking for this UCLA offense is exactly what's happened on the first 2 plays. A running play not being the quarterback success, and then a quick in-and-out pass.
And another big opener on the ground. Nice open field tackle at the 49-yard line, but Anthony Woods has a good gain.
Yeah, for this UCLA offensive line, if they could make these plays in the offensive line, give some space, take some of the pressure off the quarterback,
right,
that he doesn't have to do it in the running game and the passing game.
So good looking opening drive here. 2nd and 3 at the 49.
Penn State is just going with 2 linebackers in the game. They got 5 defensive backs.
Woods remains the tailback, and he'll get the carry. I beg your pardon, that's Javian Thomas, and he's close to a 1st down. Jerry Neuheisel is the play caller today.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things for coming into this game, partner, in a lot of different games, but we've never seen a storyline like this. Coming in, new coordinators, new play callers, new coach, and just everything changing on the run.
And a credit to the UCLA kids for hanging in there through all the change so far. A stiff arm and a nice run by Thomas. And Javian Thomas has got it down to the 32-yard line. Becky Wheatley brought him down.
And one of the things you got to notice for a team that's 0-4, look and see if the wide receivers are still in the game. And on this one, the wide receivers were Quasi Gilmer, number 3, downfield blocking for his guy. You don't know if the guy's going to break loose, but you got to do your job, and he did downfield.
Got it to the 33-yard line. And another UCLA 1st down. In the pistol set. Iamaleava comes up, throws out in the flat, and inside the 30 goes Jack Peterson. Here's the coaching changes. We said we develop this as we go. Right now, UCLA with a nice drive going, but this will give you an idea. Deshaun Foster, the head coach, relieved of his duties. Tim Skipper in. Jerry Neuheisel's calling the plays. Tino Sinceri's gone. And Kevin Coyle comes in about a week ago, maybe not even that much.
One where he had 2 days last week and put his defensive coordinator spot, and now, 2 days for Jerry Neuheisel to call the plays.
He's calling some good ones so far.
Well, they're all working. They're good when they work.
2nd down and 6. Iamaleava throws out complete. Going to be about a yard shy of the 1st down as a flag flies in. Yeah, Mikey Matthews with a catch.
I think you're going to get one of the either offensive linemen or wide receivers blocking downfield. It's one of those plays where the quarterback is reading it and then he throws it in RPO, and sometimes those linemen get too far downfield.
Greg Blum's our referee.
And that was a receiver downfield, number 1. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So that was Rico Flores.
Yeah, that's odd. That might be that they lined up in ineligible spot, that he wasn't off the line of scrimmage enough. These 2 guys could be both on the line of scrimmage right here, and you're trying to do something and it doesn't work. You got to have your spacing the way it does it.
So the ineligible downfield backs it up to 2nd down and 11. Anthony Frias in the lineup for the first time. Yall with a throw up and dropped. Might not have been a first down, but should have caught it, and that was Anthony Woods out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's been some of the problem, is those penalties that are, self-inflicted penalties killing drives.
Yeah.
That's been the story, and it continues to be the story for this offense. They move the ball, get down to the 25-yard line or so, and then all of a sudden you get a penalty, and then things seem to fall apart.
As you saw there, fifth most in the country in penalties, came in with 36 for 335 yards, and that's too many. It's about 85 yards a game, so that sets him behind the chains for the first time. Empty backfield. Yall, he's going to run with it. Nico's got the first down and more, and he barrels over would-be tacklers as he got it all the way down around the 11-yard line.
This is why Nico Yall was one of the top 5-star quarterbacks coming out a couple of years ago. What he can do in the passing game, and then once it breaks down, what he can do running the ball.
23 yards, they go quickly, trying to get to the edge, and he couldn't, was Woods. That was a nice job by the linebackers and Kevin Wosley over there to make the stop.
Yeah, I wonder if that was Ziggy Wheatley that got that time, number 6, that got that shoestring tackle. Was it?
They're both there.
Yeah.
And if they didn't get that, he's probably in the end zone. Now it's at the 11-yard line, second down and 9. They have not been good, obviously, with that graphic in the red zone. And they have not had a lead this season as well. They might have one right here. Reaching for the pylon. Touchdown, UCLA. Quasi Gilmer stretches it out for the score.
One-on-one to the outside. This was another decision by the quarterback. Pulling it out, sees it's 1-and-1. Gives it to him, and can their guy beat another guy? He does, and that is a touchdown. That is a nice drive for a first-time play caller going against this Penn State team. Neuheisel and Nico teaming up pretty nicely. Stop route, one-on-one.
Great stiff arm, and then the stretch. And a touchdown.
How do you like that? Never called plays before, and you get your opening drive touchdown engineered by the new offensive play caller.
Magani in for the point after. Up and good. What a way to start things off in the first 4.5 minutes.
Right here. Almost 8 yards. Yall sees it. Sees the blitz coming off the other side. Delivers it. And then one-on-one. Makes somebody miss. And your athlete wins.
Jerry Neuheisel. And there's Dad in the booth. Touchdown, UCLA.
We're not supposed to root, but if it's your son, you get a pet.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? He's allowed to do that.
Magani to kick Corey Smith. And the pooch kick is covered by the Bruins. Pulling out all the stops. Rico Flores is on it.
And this is great coaching right here. Penn State, they had to see this on film. Watch the Penn State just run away from that side.
He almost caught it in midair, but he covered it after 10 yards.
But here's what they saw when they looked on tape. Watch this guy bail too fast. Just runs away from it. Nobody on the field to make that play.
A touchdown lead, and Tim Skipper, a happy Skipper right now so far, as they're right in Penn State territory again at the 46-yard line. It's taken them 10 games to get a touchdown and an opening drive, and now they can put together back-to-back scoring drives, maybe. And they are playing hard. J.D. and Thomas on the carry.
So if you're going to have a bad stat that you have not led at all for the whole year, that's the way to actually end the streak, wouldn't you think? A nice drive like that and an onside kick. What a way to end that streak.
It was actually Kenny Clark that recovered the onside kick, number 1 on defense, number 1 on offense. And a second down and 6. Empty backfield. And now Thomas swings out. Yall comes back the other way and completes it to Gilmer.
In and out of his hand. That was the goal right now. They've been holding it too long. Could they get these short passes and put some pressure on the Penn State defense and negate that pass rush? And so far, the pass rush has not been a factor.
Anthony Woods flanking Yall in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers set on a first down. Looking left. Pump fakes once. Fires sideline. Got him in stride. Man, what a throw and catch.
Cannot throw it better than that, can you?
Ali Malala on a perfect throw.
It's a wheel route. Up the thing. Beautiful throw. Cannot throw it any better than that. Fakes the block and then goes. What a well-designed play.
Down to the 15-yard line, and look at that.
You got the feeling that Jerry Neuheisel's been saving these plays for 10 years, don't you think? If I ever call the plays, this is what I'm going to do.
It's first down at the 11-yard line. Little hesitation.
Yep.
And then the carry goes down to the 8. Anthony Woods.
Yeah, Amari Campbell that time made a good play to save that from getting into the end zone that time.
The Bruins can actually get a first down at the 1-yard line. It's second down and 7.
This Penn State defense has to build their neck right now if they don't want to get down 14 points.
Habermill and Peterson at a 2 tight end set. The receivers, all 3, come out to the near side. And they'll run it. And they're going to get around the 5 or 6-yard line, and it'll bring up third down.
Now you look on your play call sheet right here. Now you got your favorite play. They might even dive into a 2-point play right here that they have lined up. Something that you love in this part of the field you're going to go to right now.
They haven't loved third down this year coming in, 31%. But as you see, they've had the ball the entire game.
Little confusion here. A lot of guys looking to the bench, trying to figure out what formation.
Might not be a bad time for a timeout if they're that confused. Yall going to the corner. Too high, too hot, and broken up by A.J. Harris. It's fourth down.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers of throwing that quick out there. If that corner doesn't follow your wide receiver, if he looks back, it's a very dangerous throw, and you have to let it go before you know for sure.
And from our AT&T pylon cam, they had 2 guys, Mikey Matthews, kind of in the pattern too, Gary, so
yep.
There was too much going on in that corner. So Mateen Bagani will try a 24-yard field goal. He's 7 for 7 so far this year. And he's got it up and good.
Considering what happened, that was a must field goal for that defense for Penn State.
And 10-0 now. And the interim head coach and the new play caller saying, okay, it's going great. We just had the ball for half the quarter, and we lead the number 7 team in the country 10-0.
Yeah, we were pulling back a little bit about who exactly it was. It was DeJohn Lane, number 10, that was at the bottom of that kickoff team. Multiple numbers, wanted to make sure, but it was DeJohn Lane, number 10, that kind of bailed out too early, and that must have been available in tape because they were sure they were going there.
So Bagani, who just hit the field goal to cap that 40-yard drive after the onside kick coverage, set to kick back off. And this one he drills out of the back of the end zone, and Penn State will bring it out to the 25-yard line. They haven't had a snap on offense yet as Drew Aller brings them out. The senior, Jenny's got more.
Yeah, Drew Aller has already turned the page after last week's loss to Oregon. He had the 24-hour rule, reflect and then move on. This is not the way this team wanted to start. He was hoping they would use that loss as a spark plug for the rest of the season. His biggest lesson from last week was to start fast. Well, clearly that hasn't happened. We'll see if the offense can answer the call, guys.
All right, Jenny. They haven't lost back-to-back in 46 games, coming off a double overtime loss to Oregon. And the first snap of the ball game, Nick Singleton, who's had kind of a rough year for him, has a nice gain, pickup of about 7.
Yeah, all the talk about the new receivers, the quarterback, the part of this team that I think should be challenged is offensive line. It's supposed to be the best in college football.
Aller's first throw complete, and it's Kyron Hudson. Players to watch today. Devontae Ross put on a nice show last week in the losing effort, and we talked to Gary Smith, big defensive tackle who had a career high. He wants to put some pressure on Drew Aller from the inside. Had 7 tackles last week in the loss to Northwestern. And right now, again, Singleton will join Drew Aller in the backfield. Aller throws over the middle, complete, and the ball came out. Let's see. First of all, was it a completed pass?
I thought Penn State got back on it. I think was it Ross? Pena, number 8.
Pena's on top of it. He's the guy that made the catch.
Punched out, he goes down, and Pena comes right, bounces right. Very fortunate. 4 Bruins right there, and he sticks the paw out.
Well, he didn't have that for long.
No.
They're going to call it a catch. And they're going in a hurry. And they got a first down at midfield.
Yeah, that was
Katron Allen.
Good move by Penn State. They're going quick. They didn't really want to replay. They didn't know for sure. Since it went their way, they're going, let's get up there and run the play.
Gene Steratore told us from New York he agreed with the call. Completed catch, fumble, and recovered. So first down.
So I don't think if you're Penn State, 10-0 means nothing to how you're going to call the plays. You're on the same script that you had before, even if it was 0-0.
Right. Here's the pitch. And Singleton running hard and another first down. When I just mentioned a little while ago, Nick Singleton having kind of a tough year. He's averaging under 4 yards a carry, but he's off to a hot start here.
Yeah, watch number 16, Khalil Dinkins this time. Gets into the second level. Good block inside, and then Dinkins cleans up the outside for the very positive play.
And there's the blocking from both the wide receiver and the tight end, and Singleton's run goes for about 12 or 13, and another Penn State first down at the 39 of the Bruins. Aller rolling left, throwing complete. Down around the 23 to Hudson again.
So that's already 3 completions to the 3 transfer wide receivers in this game. Hudson, Ross, and Pena. In the first half of last week's game, when Penn State struggled, the first 28 minutes, look at that. 1 target to their 3 transfer, and those are difference makers, those 3 guys.
You asked Coach Franklin about that in our meeting yesterday, and he said, I agree with you 100%. We got to get it in those guys' hands. So far, they have on this drive. Here's a draw play that's going nowhere. Nice job by John Vaughns, the captain of the defense and their leading tackler.
Yeah, Nolan Rucci that time did not get the key block on the play. The right tackle, watch him come across and not get the block right here coming across as the tackle. Comes in, misses it from the outside, kind of misreads the play. Good defensive play call, aggressive, and that was the word that new defensive coordinator gave us. Kevin Coyle, we're going to come after them more. We're not going to sit back and read.
Katron Allen now in the backfield on second down at 12. They fake it to him. Aller wants to go across the middle and does. Completes it, and just short of a first down is Andrew Rapplier.
Sometimes it just looks so easy. You put your tight end in motion, 2 tight ends in the game, fake the ball one way. They've already run that play with the motion to the outside and the quick pitch. They come back and they just give it to the tight end, open by 6 yards.
It's going to be third down and about a yard. In the red zone this year so far, 18 out of 19, including 12 touchdowns for the Nittany Lions. They've got 3 tight ends in there now, and they've got a first down. Katron Allen goes up and over the pile. And it's first and goal.
And so when this Penn State offense is roaring the way everyone expected them, they all came back to do this. This is what it looks like. They can hammer you. They can get outside you. They got the quarterback that can hit the talent. That's the way it should work if the Nittany Lions have their championship gear in effect.
First down at the 13. 3 wideouts now for Drew Aller. They stay on the ground. Katron Allen heading to the corner. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. Number 13 goes 13. So So a great opening drive for the Nittany Lions as well.
Last time, number 72, Rucci, did not get the key block. Watch him this time. He gets the key block, fits it up the hole, reads it right, gets inside just enough to get that inside linebacker and spring him.
So Ryan Barker in for the point after. Up and good. So the first drive
included in that drive.
Gabriel Wosu will tee it up. The world's largest kicker at 6'6", 297. I love it when he's kicking or punting.
I know. Usually you go after the kicker and you go, all right, I got the easy one in the middle.
Yeah, no way. And Frias fields it and takes a knee. And they'll bring it out to the 25. New season of Georgie and Manding's first marriage is on the way. Wait a minute. First marriage? We're rooting for these two anyway. Catch a premiere. CBS October 16th. Numbers on the quarterbacks so far, both impressive.
And you know what else is impressive? Iamaleava has not been hit a lot.
Nope.
If you're watching the game tapes before, he was taking a pounding almost on every play. The only one he really got tackled on was when he ran for a first down.
And he even got a pretty good landing on that one.
Yes.
And he pulls this one. And Nico runs out to the 31-yard line. He came in on the season with 204 yards rushing. And he's added to those totals today here in the first quarter.
But it felt like watching a couple games that he had to run. There was nothing else to do, you know. And when we talked to him on Friday, I set him up a couple times for him to kind of dispel anything he wanted to. And he goes, no, sir, it's all about the team.
That's right.
Over and over again.
This time he'll go to the air and completes. And the ball comes out at the end, but the play was whistled dead. Jack Peterson with the catch.
Remember, without Rojas in there, this Penn State linebacking core is not as athletic.
Possession of the ball, officials pulling forward progress, stop, first down.
This was a nice tight pass, fit in between the linebackers. The Lucas play in the middle, it looks like, and Campbell is playing in the Rojas spot.
Right. Tony Rojas out with an injury that they have not told us what it's about. Out indefinitely. Sidearm. Complete out to Flores. And we mentioned Tony Rojas, normally a starter, junior out of Fairfax, Virginia. Not in the game today.
One of the playmakers on this defense, and by the way, I watched the whole game tape against Oregon. He was even in on the last play of the football game for their defense. Okay, so in modern college football, when a guy only plays 4 games and it's an undisclosed injury, questions pop up. Like, what's going on? Is he looking to keep his eligibility alive? You never know.
Possible red shirt. Second down and 6. Somehow, Javian Thomas got around the corner and denied Dennis Sutton, who had the early penetration.
Yeah, that's the surprising one for me is denied Dennis Sutton. Even though he got blocked by a couple guys, I thought he had his hands on him enough to grab him and pull him down. Did not get it. Another successful run.
The first quarter belongs to the Penny with Tim Skipper moments ago.
Fast start. What gave you the confidence to go for the onside kick?
Every play matters. In my mind, if we scored first, we were going to do that. So it worked like a charm, so I'm excited about that.
You have the lead for the first time this season. How do you keep it rolling?
Yeah, energy and passion. That's what it's going to take. Every single play is going to matter. We just have to give 100% every time. We'll be fine. 1-0.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And looks like an offside on Penn State. Iamaleava takes advantage with a throw. And if it's against Penn State, they'll take the play.
Oh, it is. A double clap, very cute. You know, those defensive players get used to that clap, and they get ready to go. They hear it. They went with the second clap.
Offside. Defense number 36 in the neutral zone to snap. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So UCLA scored on its 2 opening drives with the play calling of Jerry Neuheisel. Let's bring in his dad. The kid's off to a good start, Rick.
He's looks like he's having fun. I love that third down hard count, and hopefully they can keep this drive alive.
Okay, stay with us up there in the corner. It's 1st and 10 for the Bruins back in Penn State territory. This time on the ground, bouncing to the 41 is Anthony Woods. Something they haven't been able to do is run the ball, and they're running it well today.
Yeah, Rick, that is the quarterback's best friend, right? You get that running back. What was your advice, your number one advice to your son going into this game?
I told him stay away from those Penn State defensive ends. Those guys are athletic, and they are hard chargers, and you got to make sure that you've got an answer. So a lot of tight ends in there and a lot of running game, and he's been pretty productive so far with that running game.
2nd down and 5. Yall lost the ball and got back on top of it. That's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Zariah Fisher, number 36, knocked it right out of his hand. You were right. Stay away from those defensive ends.
And he just swatted it right out of there.
Yeah, they're terrific players. The idea, you know, Nico's such a great run threat as well. I know Jerry doesn't want to get him hit too many times, but his legs are critical to the success today.
We'll see if he uses them on 3rd down and 10. They've got to get all the way to the 36-yard line for a 1st down. And they will keep it safe on the ground, and they might get the 1st down, and they do. Jamie and Thomas, 1st down Bruins.
Very safe call here for your football team. You don't want a 3rd and long turnover. They run right into that pass rush, run it right at the aggressive defensive end. You knew that Denai Sutton was going to come upfield looking for the sack. Another cute call.
And now they're going tempo.
He didn't get that one from me, boys. He got that from Chip Kelly.
And now they're going a little tempo here. And now it is Nico on the ground, just as Rick called it, to the 30-yard line.
Rick, I don't know if you can feel a little deja vu, but in 1994, Colorado was playing Wisconsin. A couple of young announcers was ushering in a new offensive coordinator at Colorado, calling the plays, Rick Neuheisel. Remember that game?
Gary, you were on that call. I remember hanging out with you, and I couldn't believe how lucky I was to be able to be hanging out with the great Gary Daniels.
I said this guy's going to make a great head coach or studio analyst.
I don't think you added the studio analyst part. Here's Jerry Neuheisel with us in the pregame. Listen very closely, everybody.
Hey, Coach Neuheisel, I just want to make sure you got the wherewithal to have a hell of a broadcast today. Love you, Dad.
It was freaky meeting with Jerry yesterday. I've met him before, but I've never sat down with him that long. It is eerie how much he sounds like his dad.
Thank God he looks like his mom.
Thank God is right. Jalen Berger in the lineup for the first time in the backfield. Yall, late throw, but a good one. Right on target near the 20-yard line. Close to the 1st down is Rico Flores.
Rick, Jerry just raved about the potential of Nico, that if they could give them the time in the offense, that this guy's as good as he's been around. And Jerry Neuheisel's been around some pretty good quarterbacks as a coach.
He told me when he got him in fall camp and they were watching that this guy can do everything. And the other thing that they're adding, and I give Coach Skipper all the credit, they're actually looking like they're having fun. This team is more talented than they've been playing, and I'm just excited that they're able to put it on the field a little bit.
Boy, on a full blitz, they almost got a touchdown pass to Jack Peterson, just off his outstretched arms. Nico hung in there.
Normally I would have blamed the tight end coach for that, but that was Jerry too, so I'm not going to blame him.
That's a good idea. I will say this, Rick, the one thing he's not following on your footsteps, this is his 7th year at UCLA. The longest stop you had anywhere was 6 years at UCLA, and then after that, you were the transfer portal coach after that.
I was pink slip Pete, there's no question about it. Finally, I found a job I can keep here at CBS.
There you go.
And no gain on that play by Berger.
What's going through your head? Were you a little surprised that Jerry wanted to be a coach when he was coming up?
No, not at all. He was tagging along from the time he could walk to come and be a part of football. We'd go over clock drives. We'd go over all kinds of stuff. managing expectations. I told him this is like boxing, right? It's jab. It's jab. It's protect your chin. Here comes a haymaker. See what he's got here on 3rd and 10.
From the 20. It's going to be 3rd and 15, I'm afraid.
He paused it. He paused it for everybody. Kind of go with Omaha or kill, kill, kill. He made a call, and it wasn't heard by the tackles.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, there's the Neuheisel family, and there's father and son on the right.
Great memories. Great memories. Hopefully another great one today. Now he's got to make sure he protects this field goal.
Yeah, he did it last call. Let's see if he does it the same way.
3rd down, 15. First long yardage situation on 3rd down for the Bruins. Iamaleava going to try to scramble to his left, and now he'll keep it. Nico, first down and goal. Anthony Woods got a big block, and it's 1st and goal Bruins.
Well, he did that on the first drive, 3rd and 10, and he picked up the first down. Now 3rd and even longer, and this is just not good sound defense for Penn State right here. Not a lot of eyes
Great
on the
job by that
quarterback.
running back. Yeah, great job, Gary, on that running back getting that chip.
Yeah, right at the end.
Protection. Yep.
20-yard run by Nico. And a Penn State player down. Might be Dominic DeLuca, I think. And we'll take a break and check out him. And when we come back, it's in the first half.
Rick, it's kind of working together here. You get the chip block. Watch Anthony Woods, number 6. Get the chip block to start with that Rick right away saw on this play. Chip right there. But watch, he goes downfield. The block I saw, he gets downfield, turns around and gets another key block. This 3-man in the booth thing, this could work.
And then an injury at the
enthusiasm.
end.
Yeah. Incredible enthusiasm right now by this Bruin team. They're having fun, and that's unfortunately what's been missing. So obviously it's more fun to win, but these kids are having some fun this weekend, and it shows.
You saw Dominic DeLuca on the sideline, a 3-time captain and linebacker. They're thin at linebacker without Tony Rojas in there, and now they got Cam Smith, a true freshman, playing linebacker.
Yeah, and he got hit with Nico. Ran right into him going head first instead of sliding. He ran right through his shoulder, and that's how he got it popped.
So it's 1st and goal just outside the 5. This is the 15th play of the Bruin drive. They obviously knew we were going to have Rick on, and they wanted him to stay on half the quarter.
Yeah. Rick, we're getting a lot of calls. We're getting a lot of calls from Penn State, though, that this has got to end soon.
I totally understand. How can I be in the way of the 2 best in the business calling this action, especially wearing what I'm wearing?
Yeah, that tie is a total sellout, I'll tell you that much. So there you see the discrepancy.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. 14 and a half minutes. They got it just outside the 5.
Oh, man.
And big hit off the corner. And that is a loss of a yard. Amari Campbell with the tackle.
Yeah. Coming from the inside, just another just coming inside the other way. 2 guys just meeting at the ball carrier right here. Yeah, just from the secondary that time. It was Lane to Dewan Lane.
So DeLuca's back in there. Just a little bit of a stinger. He sort of shook it off.
You got to be thinking quarterback on this one. How are they going to use Nico on this play if you're playing Penn State defense right now?
16th play of the drive from outside the 6. And it's Woods got back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. And denied Dennis Sutton came off the edge, number 33, and now it's 3rd and goal. All right, let's see what Jerry's got on that script.
Might get a note from his dad. He didn't like that second call, I don't think. Rick didn't like that one.
Those both should have been zone reads, which should have been pulls by the quarterback.
Looked like it.
I don't know if he took that option off.
Well, it's been sent in to Nico.
He obviously hasn't mastered the art of putting that thing over his mouth. If you're reading his lips, you're going to have a call.
It's all defense. Watch the quarterback on this play. Get the quarterback.
Nico fires, end zone, touchdown. And it's Adi Malala.
receivers, well designed, but a good job by Nico seeing that drop defensive end, and he beat him with the throw.
Extra point is up and good.
Defense was designed to get to the quarterback. They did not get him.
So 14 points was third worst in the country coming in, and they've got 17 here in the first half. And now it's time for Working on a Win, presented by the Home Depot. Well, when you're working with two great tailbacks, kind of like the old days with Franco Harris and Lydell Mitchell for Penn State, and now it's Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, the present. And Katron's got a touchdown rush today for the Nittany Lions. That's their only score thus far, but they haven't had the ball much. 5 minutes and 14 seconds. UCLA's had it 15 minutes and 46 seconds.
10 plays so far for this team.
And this is Katron. And he's going to carry the pile for about 4.
So in essence, what Skipper did with the onside kick, they stole the possession, and then they had a 16-play drive.
Right.
That's how you keep the ball away from an offense that kind of moved down the field on you pretty easily. That's how you can win football games.
Like you said, Penn State only down 10. No reason for James Franklin's team to panic. They average 39 points a game. They've been behind before, and they were behind in their double overtime loss to Oregon and put together a big-time fourth quarter just to get it to overtime. Here's Aller, and he overshot his intended receiver, Trevor Pena. Let's check in with Jenny.
Yeah, Drew Aller spent this offseason working on the mental side of his game. He admitted it was his own toughest critic. Every mistake came with a thought. A good quarterback wouldn't do that. Now he's focused on positive self-talk. After a slip-up, he's telling himself, I'll make it next time. Guys, he just walked down the sideline telling every single one of his teammates, focus on one play at a time.
Well, that was his first incompletion of the game.
Mental toughness right now is needed. His defense needs a rest. Big third down play.
3rd and 6. Penn State under 40% of their third down conversions. They look a little confused. Play clock winding down. They got the snap. Aller fires into some traffic, broken up, incomplete. Roderick Pleasant broke it up.
I don't know if Drew double clutched on this or not. Did he wait 1 second too long? He delivered it perfectly. Was it knocked down, or did it bounce right off of Hudson's shoulder pads? I think he tipped it. It looked like he tipped it. It just felt the ball like the ball was late to the throw.
Wosu set to punt. And taking it on the bounce, Mikey Matthews. Matthews gets a few out of it on the return.
I will say this, no worry, no worry. Our offense is okay. Nothing. Reed doesn't panic. One more drive by UCLA.
A 3 and out for Penn State.
Yeah, and a big third down player. I think the quarterback and the receiver could have done better. Watch Drew here. He double clutches. The ball should go now. He does one more jump, and then the receiver doesn't come back to the ball. He really doesn't try to catch it with his hands. He tries to catch it with his shoulder pads. If both did just a little bit better, that would have been completed.
And on the other side, a Bruin defense that could not get off the field on third down all year long, and they forced a 3 and out. And I think Kevin Coyle's got to be happy about that.
And that's what he said the story of the Northwestern game was. We played pretty good defense, but on third down, we couldn't get off the field. Gave them 2 good drives, and we could never catch up after that.
Time leading, the entire time leading. Hadn't led all year. And now they've got their 4th possession, and they've gone 3 possessions, touchdown, field goal, touchdown.
Yeah, I've been nitpicking with the offense, but big challenge for this defense to show up for Penn State.
And again, good job on the ground. Jalen Berger this time with the offensive line leading the way and picking them up at the end of the play.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the talk about, traveling west or west teams traveling east, and it does just look like this Penn State defense is not in full gear. There's really not a play they've called that hasn't really worked.
And number 33 hasn't been much of a factor. Denied Dennis Sutton, one of the best in college football, coming off the edge. And Nico throws complete. First down. Mikey Matthews, one of the 3 wideouts on that play.
Again, love the timing of the pass offense. It's going to force this Penn State defensive backs to move up. If they're going to throw on time like that, that doesn't allow your defensive ends to get in and make any plays. They're going to have to move up and force Nico to hold the ball just a little longer.
Yamalaba, 146 total yards and 2 touchdowns already. And he has looked very, very poised. Twice as many first downs for the Bruins. The time of possession's off the charts, as we showed you. And with 6:40 to go in the first half, they've got it at the 43-yard line. They keep it on the ground.
Again, I mean, I came into this game saying, could this UCLA offensive line just show up? Give their quarterback a chance. Give the running backs and make them part of the offense, and they have.
And Jerry Neuheisel told us, too, he said, we've been averaging about 2.8 seconds to get the ball out, and we need our offensive line to give Nico maybe another 3 or 4 tenths of a second.
Yeah, that's big.
Second down at 4, empty backfield. Yamalaba going to go deep. Double coverage, but it's there. It's caught. Quasi Gilmer. What a throw and catch.
And UCLA will try to go fast. Penn State goes bump and run, and what do? They go right at it.
43 yards, and it's first and goal Bruins again.
What a play by Quasi Gilmer that time.
From the 8-yard line. And backpedaling to about the 3 is Jalen Berger.
Well, we said, can they challenge? Will the defensive backs for Penn State move up? They move up, and they run by him. Now, that was decent coverage, a perfect throw.
And that's not the first time we've said that, a perfect throw. He did it on that wheel route earlier in the ball game over on the far sideline.
Well, remember last time down here on second down, they ran the ball unsuccessfully. Rick speculated whether it was a read by the quarterback, and he should have kept it. Let's see what they do here now.
Just under 5 to go. Javian Thomas in the backfield with Yamalaba. Nico, will he use his legs here? Yes, he will. And he's in. Touchdown. Nico Yamalaba with a score. Javian Thomas leading the way.
Now that right side, that tight end and H-back. Watch these 2 guys right here. The H-back and the tight end, they just fall down that offense. They both get fits coming around the end. They get the, I think it was Giorgio, number 72, that pulls and makes the block. That, again, a perfect drive. A shocking start to this football game.
Bagani in for the point after. Up and good. First, it was a 43-yard bomb. Paramount Plus. The kickoff will send Penn State out to the 25-yard line. Good protection for the quarterback.
Yeah, it has been. That was the challenge. Could they give him just another tick to step in and throw the ball? And you can see how accurately he has nobody in his face, nobody hitting him as he lets the ball go. And one note, that 43-yard pass to Gilmer is the longest play for UCLA in 26 games.
Wow. Longest Penn State has had this year throwing the ball is 42 yards. So,
but I mean, the longest play 20 UCLA. You just think.
Yeah, you would think it would happen by accident.
Yes.
Let's see if Penn State's got any explosives in their repertoire. That's an explosive backwards to the 15-yard line. Pena dropped.
So I was just about to say that Penn State needs to play that 4-minute offense to end the half, and then they're going to get the ball to start the second half. They need a good starter in this drive, and they got just the opposite. The pressure is definitely ratcheting up now in this Penn State football team.
As you said on the last drive, it's okay, but if UCLA scores again, it's not going to be so okay.
They're definitely feeling the pressure now.
Back at the 15-yard line, second down at 20. Drew Aller has time. Fires on a shot and a first down to Kyron Hudson.
And no pass rush at all that time. Step up in the pocket, didn't have to jump this time. Watch him step up in the pocket, deep square in, nobody in his face, steps into the throw, and that's as wide open as you can get.
Tyron Hudson, the transfer from USC. His best game ever was against UCLA. Now he's wearing a different uniform. Nick Singleton in the backfield on a first down at the 35. He'll flush out of the backfield, and Aller on a quarterback draw that goes nowhere. Jalen Woods, right in the middle of the pack, made the tackle. We don't see this call too much.
No, especially on first down like this. You're trying to get the ball into positive territory. Good little stunt there, Kevin Coyle. Nobody standing still, nobody pressing the quarterback. They were kind of slanting, and they slanted right in to the quarterback draw.
Obviously, Bruin fans know this is not the offense they've seen this year, but this isn't the defense they've seen either. Second down and 10, under 3 minutes to go, second quarter. Aller looking left the whole way. Throws complete out to the 41 to Khalil Dinkins, the tight end. Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, popped his head in to say hello to us right before heading to their booth. You and I have been talking all week. All the offense seemed to roll around Tyler Warren last year.
Yeah.
There's no number 44 anymore. He's playing for the Colts.
A little different calls. You have to reach around and use different guys. A little bit different for Penn State.
Third down at 4. They need to get to the 45-yard line. Probably the final play before the 2-minute timeout. Aller gonna lay it out long, near side, incomplete. And no flag.
Decision there. You needed a first down bad.
There is a flag.
Are they going to get a holding on the play?
Devontae Ross, the intended receiver. Jackson, the guy that looks upset. Or maybe Cole Martin. Let's see.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic. First down. Timeout in the field for the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, you see him grabbing him the whole way. That's a good call. Didn't quite see it as the ball was being thrown. I was watching the ball, but good job by the officials right there.
Total yardage for UCLA. They came in averaging 321 yards a game. They've got 268 right now for Tim Skipper, their interim head coach.
Yeah, and all 4 of those drives produce points.
Yep.
What's popped up for me right now for the UCLA, they have no pass rush if they don't blitz. No pressure on the quarterback. You can really call any play you want. You got all 3 timeouts if you're Penn State, 2 minutes to go. If they score here, remember they get the ball to start the second half.
That would be the middle 8 that they wanted to score in the final 4 of this, and hopefully do the same to open the third quarter. First things first, they've got it at the 44-yard line with a first down, courtesy of that pass interference call. 2 tight ends in there, Rapplier and Dinkins. And Drew Aller saying, we're ready to go. Why can't we snap it? All right, now we got everything set. First down at the 44. They're going to run it, and maybe a 2-yard gain for Nick Singleton. And Penn State, again, all timeouts remain, but now we're down to 1:45. Wasting some time here, that's for sure. Unless they're that confident and they don't want to give the ball back to the Bruins. I get that part, but wow. It'll be 1:25 at the snap or less. And they're still going to run it. And it's Singleton again, gets inside the 40, down to the 38.
Yeah, they need to hurry now. I'm surprised the back-to-back runs there. If they'd have gone faster, I could have lived with that. But as Ness told you, they took a lot of time to run the ball. 2 straight plays.
Well, this time they don't huddle, but the snap's going to come around 1:05. Aller scans the field, in trouble. And can't get away. Tried to reach the ball out. He didn't know where he was first down marker-wise.
Yeah,
nowhere near it.
Play right here. Let's see if Penn State takes a timeout and decides what to do. Tried to run a rub to the outside. Well defended by that Bruin defense that time. Tried to get the ball to the tight end on the outside. It was not there.
39 seconds.
Why no timeout here? What are they doing?
They still didn't take a timeout.
I don't get this at all.
I don't either. 4th down and 2. And now they're confused on the alignment. And UCLA is going to take a timeout, I guess, to help them out.
Well, I mean, they burned enough time on their own. It doesn't really make that much difference.
Okay, that's the weirdest sequence I've seen in the last 10 years.
Hey guys! 'Cause I'm in shoo shoo shoo, shoo shoo shoo, shoo 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 shoo, Sugar Town.
Gemini, which of these would be a little less expected?
Check out the alliums. They'd go great with the hydrangeas below.
Will those last till Saturday?
Yeah, they should last until Saturday if they're kept in water.
Quite frankly, I can't explain the last minute and a half. Do you want to try?
Well, let me try this. Who do you think James Franklin has less confidence in on that play, that sequence? His offense or his defense?
I said maybe they don't want to give it back to the Bruins, but now they got a 4th and 2. Got motion all over the place. Aller is going to be sacked. Well, he threw it late. And if it's complete, it doesn't matter. UCLA's taken over.
I mean, it was the worst of all worlds. Not only do they not pick it up, they get sacked and give UCLA the ball right at roughly the 50-yard line. He waits, and then called down. And I think he was right. Forward progress at least.
That's a loss of 11.
Singleton had a chance to block Jacob Busick on that play, but he did not stay with him.
So UCLA's got a 1st down, 2 timeouts to work with, a guy with a big arm.
And a lot of confidence.
And a play caller, Jerry Neuheisel, that just about everything he's dialed up has worked today. Let's see if they get actually more points out of the most bizarre Penn State sequence of the season. It's the second time we've had a stoppage in play and preventing the offense from snapping the ball, and I have no idea either time what it was about. At any rate, 1st and 10. Iamaleava throws low but caught, and now in the open field it's a 1st down.
Clock will stop. It'll be up to UCLA whether they want to burn a timeout. And they did. They will come and huddle and have a strategy trying to get either a deep ball for a touchdown or a field goal position.
Adi Malala again on the receiving end. A low pass, but a nice run after catch, and the Bruins are cooking here late in the quarter. Fifteen seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, there it is. Nice look. If it was a perfect pass, he might have been able to get more yards. It was not, but a good job picking it up here. I would go for 5 to 8 yards. It's a 60-yard field goal for here. I would try to get a little bit more and take 3.
Iamaleava on a crossing route. Got it to the tight end, and they got those extra yardage by Habermel.
Yep, take the timeout with 2 seconds to go and kick a field goal. Is a gift try for a field goal.
And the Bruins offense moves into position for Mateen Bagani.
I think that was smart play calling. You know, you could have thrown one deep, but then you get a 50-yard field, a 60-yard field goal if you don't connect. I like the short pass. Give yourself a chance for 3 bonus points.
Bagani, he'll come out, is 8 for 8 on the season. season long is 51. His career long was last year 57. This will be a 54-yard field goal, as Gary said, for gift points to end the half if he could hit this field goal. Mateen Bogani from 54, and he's got it.
No doubt the most shocking score of college football at the half this season.
For the Nittany Lions. And he'll let this one go to bring it out to the 25-yard line. As we bring you back to the booth, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. I'm never at a loss for words, or very seldom. But you have some things written down. Maybe you can help me out.
I thought the keys that UCLA needed to do to stay in the football game, and never mind.
Never mind. Shocking last 2 minutes of the half.
It really was. And I thought that James Franklin, the way he reacted to Jenny is the way he has to go look at his football team. You give him hell when you walk in there, but you look up and say, we have to settle down and play our football. I remember a score of a Super Bowl, 28-3, when someone came back.
That's too soon, my friend.
I know, that's your Falcons. But you have to play it one score at a time and try to shift the pressure back to this freewheeling UCLA team right now. They're just out there, as Rick was saying all the time, they're just out there having fun. Well, they got to make this and turn it up where they start looking at the scoreboard and go, we don't want to blow this thing. You got to get that leading team looking up at the scoreboard, wanting the clock to go faster and put pressure back on UCLA.
Second down at 14. Aller fires complete. It's a first down. The ball is out and is covered by the Bruins.
I think Lawrence punched it out from behind. Let's see if it was number 4 that got the punch out.
I think Roderick Pleasant's the guy on top of it. There's the punch.
Lawrence, yes. What a play. We just saw it in the Monday night game, or the Thursday night game, excuse me. And that was perfect. A good catch, good blocking on the offensive line, completion for the first down, but punch right out of Luke Reynolds' hands.
And Pleasant, the guy that covered it. Great job by the defense, and that is not the way Penn State wanted to start the third quarter.
This defense has not got to stop all game.
At the 38-yard line. And a false start against the Bruins.
False start. Offense of the 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That was on Sam Yoon, the center, I should say. There's the guy that recovered the fumble.
Yeah, nice job that time. You get beat on the play, you stay with it, and you come in and you deliver the punch to knock it out.
The first time a team has scored 5 straight possessions against a James Franklin Penn State team. And UCLA looking for number 6 in a row, and they go back to Javian Thomas. Jenny was with Tim Skipper just moments ago.
Coach, how do you put that first half into words?
Oh, man, it was a perfect half for us. Everything went as we wanted. We're playing complimentary football. We have to continue that.
Nico is playing with such confidence out there. What are you hoping to see from him in the second half?
Just keep it going. One play at a time. Just be himself. He'll be fine.
Have fun, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have fun. That's a good ending to the conversation with a big smile on Tim Skipper, the interim head coach.
Yeah, the amount of criticism that this kid has taken through this year, the transfer from Tennessee, it's good to see him just out there playing ball like he knows he can.
Yamaliaba, a nice throw, but not quite incomplete. Broken up by King Mack. And we've been talking about Nico through 2 quarters, and I know Tennessee fans know all about the first couple of years with the Volunteers, and then the transfer portal out here to be closer to home. 10-3 last year, so he only lost 3 games last year. He came into this one having lost 4 straight, but he is playing lights out. Right now, UCLA, a third down and 5. They're 7 out of 8 on third down conversions. And no team this year has converted more than 7 third downs against the Nittany Lions.
Did he grab him from behind? They did not get a call. Collins that time, number 2. I thought he got his left arm on him. They do bring pressure this time. Let's watch the one-on-one coverage to the outside. Grabs him a bit.
Yep.
Then he gets his arm on him. That could have been called.
Could have been a holding and an interference.
Absolutely.
As it is, they'll set up for another field goal.
It's a long one.
Well, he hit from 54.
Yep.
This one will be 56. I mentioned last year was his career long of 57. Mateen Begani from 56 yards away. And this one's off to the right. No good. Had the distance, not the aim.
Well, that's exactly what this Penn State team, everybody on the Penn State bench needed their defense.
Things have gone so far today. 27 first half points is more than the first 4 games first half combined.
Jeez.
Nico's been on fire. Penn State not so much.
Look at the disguise here. This guy is going to safety blitz to safety. Too much of a disguise. By the time he gets in there to put pressure on the quarterback, this play should have worked. Time to step in a square in, and he had the play just well defended, and he got away with a little tunnel.
Gene Steratore agreed with us that there probably should have been a holding call, if not an interference.
Sometimes you can just disguise too much, though. You know, I mean, if you're going to safety blitz and give him a one-on-one, you got to get to him a little earlier than that.
So there's the first 10 pass attempts, 8 out of 10, couple of misses. Back to Katron Allen. And Katron, good game, picked up about 6 before Andre Jordan brought him down. And Penn State going with some urgency right now and a little tempo. Aller out to the tight end, not going to get the first down. It's Rapelier, and it's going to be third down in the yard.
And we'll say that that's a good thing that the UCLA defense is doing. They are making open field tackles against the athletes from Penn State, wrapping up, making Penn State earn every yard.
And they haven't had many yards. 114 is all. And James Franklin's going, let's hurry up, and they're not hurrying enough. Katron Allen almost mishandled the pitch, but he gets the first down run and then some. Best run of the day by number 13.
I've always thought that Katron Allen is the heart and soul of this football team. When he runs hard and tough, it seems to just electrify his team, and they seem to follow this guy. When he starts playing his power football, Penn State seems to react well to it.
He's got their only score today. And now they moved it to the Bruin 40-yard line. Nick Singleton in the backfield. They fake it to him. Aller wanted to throw back to him. And now running out of time, and he will keep it. And tiptoed down the sideline. Got a first down, I think.
Yeah, late flag, though. Was there a push in the back on the play? I think Kyron Hudson, number 1, got a late push on the play.
Offense number 1. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, you saw him. He ran right into it where Kyron was, grabbed the UCLA Bruin defender, and got an unnecessary penalty. Didn't really need it.
Right there.
Grabs him, and then turns him. It's a good call.
It was a first down run, but then with a penalty, backs it up to the 40. Aller going to work there. And he throws a strike. And as Dinkins down the sideline, he'll walk in. Touchdown, Penn State. 40 yards to Khalil Dinkins.
Yeah, this is a bust right here. Some guys are playing man-to-man. Some people are playing zone. Whatever it is, it's a bust in the secondary. The wheel route, which you've seen so many times. Khalil Dinkins goes right here, and watch this. No one on that UCLA defense follows the tight end.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Scoring team number 16. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed in the kickoff. It is 16's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Let's see what Dinkins does. A little push into the security staff or into our camera, right through our camera guys.
That's just not being a good teammate, if you ask me. Team's down by, 13 points if they kick this extra point, and you're throwing the ball at somebody in the end zone. I don't get it.
Ryan Barker's point after is good.
It's going to take the whole team doing everything right to come from this behind or in this deficit.
Drew Aller, Rose Bowl in Pasadena. 11:28 remaining third quarter. As we take a look at the Discover Conference update, 6 teams ranked in the top 25, 4 in the top 10. Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State, and Oregon all undefeated. We'll see 2 of those next week in Eugene. And that should be some offensive fireworks next week on CBS, 3:30 Eastern.
All right, so the 2 units for Penn State did exactly what they had to do. You get a turnover, you get a stop with 3 and out, they try the field goal, you get the ball, and then you score and you shift the pressure over to UCLA. They start going, okay, all right, we had this thing under control. Now they prove that they can march it down quickly.
But the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty makes them kick from the 20, so the kickoff return could be a possibility for Anthony Frias. And it is returnable from the 13-yard line. And no damage done. He only got to the 25 anyway. Let's take a look at the Modelo game changer, and he has been a game changer, number 9.
Nico Iamaleava, he was all go in the first half. The red zone technical throws he made, the 2 great throws, and of course the run when they needed to get in there, just fit by that pulling guard and put it in the end zone. A perfect first half for the quarterback for UCLA.
There's his numbers so far. He's had 1 pass on a wheel route and then into double coverage, a 43-yarder that got him down first and goal. That were picture-perfect passes. And now back to the ground game and bouncing his way is Anthony Woods, and he laid the wood out on the secondary of Penn State on the end of that drive.
Yeah, the transfer from Utah, Anthony Woods, it must have been good blocking, and it was an elite block from the tight end that time, getting in there on that linebacker. They are running the ball right at the Penn State defense.
They're going to try it again. This time stood up and dropped for a loss. And it was Amari Campbell, the leading tackler for Penn State, in on the hit, number 24.
Yeah, I saw Jack Ham, one of those linebacker you guys in the hallway at halftime, and he goes, it looks like we're playing in mud out there, you know, and that's type of Penn State linebacker play you expect. You run the ball up the middle, you see those middle linebackers making those plays.
So now UCLA huddles with a 13-point lead at the 10.5-minute mark, third quarter. If you told me I was going to be saying that at this point today, you probably would have thought I was a little bit off target. Iamaleava, Nico flushed, going to keep it, and stretches it out for a first down.
Oh, he made another Penn State secondary player miss him in the open field. Actually, I think it was Amari Campbell, number 24, that misses him right side of your screen. Nobody open, 24 runs out of it, and then watch Nico has to bail, and he makes Campbell miss on the play. Barely, doesn't even lay a hand on him.
Denied. Dennis Sutton goes right around Nico on an 11-yard run for a first down.
Yeah, not bad, though, by Cortland Ford. I don't know if he had a hand on him or not, but he
Just
pushed him by the
steered him by.
Yep. Another big, huge run on third down.
And picking his way for a couple is Thomas. Let's get more on Nico from Jenny.
Yeah, he's been through the ringer a bit in the media, and when I asked who he leans on, he said family, especially his little brother and Bruins teammate Madden. And for perspective, he told me football is just a game. Real adversity was watching my mom battle stage 4 breast cancer in 2020. Now, thankfully, she's cancer-free, but that outlook has really kept him grounded and grateful to be back here in California, guys.
Yeah, Gary asked him yesterday, is there anything you'd like to refute about your transfer from Tennessee? He just kind of smiled, said no. Just happy to be closer to home.
I'm happy to be home.
Yep. I know the Tennessee fans don't feel that way that are watching, but anyway, he just wants to get a win, and he's part of the way to one, but he's going to go down on that sack by Amari Campbell again. The snap wasn't too great.
Yeah, I think this time Jim Knowles brings a kind of a fancy blitz. They bring two linebackers to the same side, and they drop the defensive end from the other side. A nice call from Jim Knowles, the longtime defensive coordinator for Penn State. He's in his first year, but of course he coordinated that Ohio State defense to the national championship just a year ago.
That was an 11-yard sack by Amari Campbell, and it forces third down and 19. Iamaleava in trouble, and he goes down. Back-to-back sacks by Penn State.
I'm just telling you, things change so fast in a football game.
Zane Duran and Deni Dennis Sutton are there.
We might not have loved James Franklin's use of the clock at the end of the half on offense. I get that. But I did like the way he was composed and talked to Jamie about how we're fine with this, Jenny, about how he was fine with this football game. We go in and regroup, we're fine. You have to be, as a head coach, going into that locker room and not look panicked. Yeah, you can give them hell, but you got to know that you're in control of the game.
First UCLA punt of the day. They scored on every possession for the most part. And they just got it away, and it's blocked. And a touchdown, Penn State. Will Carroll took a little too long, and the Nittany Lions block it and score. What a turn of events.
I mean, it's right up the middle of the gut, right up there that he comes in untouched.
Deni Dennis Sutton. Finally, his name is called, and it comes at a very opportune time. Extra point coming up from Barker. Up and good. Boy, is this game taking a swing.
Just keep playing. It's a long football game.
Punt, block, bounced right into his hands, and he took it for the touchdown. And now midway through the third quarter, we got a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it was a special teams play that kind of jump-started UCLA. Good offense, good defense, everything's happened to the base. Good for the second half for Penn State.
9 years ago against Wisconsin, they came from more than 20 back to win a game. We'll see if they can do it again. Wosu set to kick. And he'll boom this one, and Frias will let it go. Next Saturday on CBS, we've got a big-time matchup in Eugene. Two of the most potent offenses in college football square off. It's 8th-ranked Indiana, number 2 Oregon. State Farm College football today gets us started at 2:30 Eastern next Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
My definition of pressure is expectations. Coming into the game, UCLA's playing free and loose, no expectation, they're just having fun. Then they get up big. The expectations is they're going to win the game. All of a sudden it flips. UCLA is now feeling heavy pressure.
Even with the lead of 6. And tripped up. And the defense of Penn State with another good play by Chaz Coleman, the true freshman. Very little gain on this play.
Yeah, off the left defensive end. He just closes it down and makes the play, comes off the block, and does a good job. The true freshman Chaz Coleman, number 19.
Blitz coming. And the pass caught, but immediately the same guy makes the play.
I think King Mack that time was coming out of the secondary, number 16. Saw that crossing route, timed it perfectly. By the way, Jim Knowles again with that cross linebacker blitz. Same one that got the sack the previous time. In comes Deni Dennis Sutton.
So at the beginning of the game and through the first half, everything was going right on third down for the Bruins. Now they got a tough one again, 3rd and 7.
to 7 points.
He's at 124. And a first down at the 20. Back to the regular runners, and they're doing a good job as well, and this is going to be close to 10 yards for Jalen Berger. In fact, they might not have blown the whistle. He might have gotten the first down.
And this is nice, nifty running right here. Squeezes through the hole provided by that offensive line. You pull the counter, nice block inside, springing him, gets into the secondary and just kind of weaves, keeps his eyes open, and a really positive play. Kind of a free down here now for UCLA.
They got it inside the 11-yard line.
I mean, you got probably 3 shots here to make the first down. You could take one.
They haven't moved the chains yet.
I think is it second and short?
Yeah, second down, less than a yard. And now they've got the first down at the 5-yard line.
I thought they'd do one of those play actions and try to steal a touchdown on second and very short, but pick up the first down. Now it's goal to go. You can have all the strategies in the world, all the sound defenses, all the veteran coaches you want. A broken play by a quarterback is darn near impossible to stop.
Yeah, that 52-yarder was a big-time play, and the opposing quarterback wanting to get the ball back. His team down by 6. 2 tight ends set for the Bruins. At the 5-yard line, first and goal. Might be a free play here. And it's incomplete anyway.
I don't see anybody throwing a flag. Oh, there is one. Yep, yeah, he did. It is a free play. Offsides, Penn State.
Offside. Defense number 33 introduces the snap. Heck, the dismissal remains. First down.
Denied. Dennis Sutton is the guy that jumped.
Yeah, top of the screen right there in the middle. Last Penn State player. Watch him just, that's enough. Snapped properly. I believe that Nico knew he had a free play and tried to stick a touchdown in there.
So the ball just outside the 2.
Remember the easy running play when he sprinted into the end zone with behind the pulling guard.
In the shotgun. They were the last time he ran it into the end zone. From the 2.5. Into the pile for a yard or maybe more is Anthony Woods there at the 1-yard line. Zariah Fisher made the stop. And as we approach 3 minutes, third quarter, UCLA in close again. From behind the defense of Penn State, Dominique DeLuca and company. And Amari Campbell. And no Tony Rojas. Those 2 linebackers have had to carry the load today. Again in the gun. Iamaleava. And he's in again. Touchdown. Ball came out at the end, but he crossed the plane.
Yes, he spun and then reached it out across the line. The same running play he scored in the first half. I think Jalen Berger, number 0, got a key block on the play. Look at him putting his head down, and then he'll turn around and reach it out across the line.
Right there.
Touchdown.
His second rushing touchdown of the day. He's the one that got him there. He's the one that got him in the end zone.
Again, Jalen Berger, number 0, had the good run, but he got the good block on that play. Looks like UCLA is
Gonna go for 2.
They're going to go for 2. Try to make it a 14-point game.
They got an extra lineman in for this 2-point attempt. And again, Iamaleava is going to be in the shotgun. Anthony Woods flanks with him there. Now they empty the backfield. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, including the tight end in the slot. And now flagged. And a false start.
Now you got to go extra point, don't you?
Yeah, I would think so.
Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty.
You got to kick it now. And they are.
Dieter Grorio, the left tackle, is the one that flinched.
Yeah, he's right guard. I think he's lined up on this play, Ness, right here.
Oh.
Yep, there he is. That's the flinch. Yep.
Tim Skipper says, dang it. There went the two-point attempt. And so instead, Mateen Bagani for the point after. And it's up and good. All right, Zook, thank you here. 34-21. Jenny's got an injury up there, I think, for us.
Yeah, Bruins right tackle Ruben Unije. He got a little banged up on Nico's last touchdown. He was out when they went for the extra point, walked over to the bench with a slight limp. Trainer's looking at that left leg, the knee area. I'll update you when I have more.
All right, Jenny, thank you. He's trying to work it out over there on the sideline with some ice. 34-21. That last drive, 75 yards in 7 plays. And as we said, the big one was Nico's 52-yard run.
I think Jim Knowles needs to think on third down. He's got to produce a spy on that. He cannot let that keep happening on third and long.
And this one hits the end zone. And touchback, bring it out to the 25-yard line for Penn State. Tonight at 7 Eastern over on CBS Sports Network. Catch a double dose of Mountain West action. First up, Wyoming hosting undefeated UNLV, followed by Nevada taking on Fresno State. Here's the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's not like Drew Eller's, not showing up here, but he has to keep producing at that high efficiency rate. Still, every play in the playbook. No hurry here for Penn State.
You take away that long pass play to Dinkins, though, and there isn't much passing yardage to show for number 15. Here he was looking for a long one, and now he's going to run for a long one. Still going. Got about 20 out of it.
Yeah, that's all you really need to do. I mean, yes, the 50-yarders are nice, but when you're a gunslinging quarterback, 10 for 12, if you can just make the defense play honest against you.
They go tempo after that 20-yard gain by Aller. They get about 3 or 4 from Nick Singleton. And again, Penn State will go no huddle at the 48-yard line. Second down and 7. Blitz coming off the corner. The run goes the other way, but a nice job to stand up. Nick Singleton, he did get about 2 or 3 out of it, though. And it's third down.
Was that Jalen Woods, number 9, that wrapped him up? That was a nice, high, tough tackle that time by Jalen Woods.
Third down at 5.
The two true freshmen are in right now. Juju Walls and Scott Taylor, number 41 and 20, are at the defensive end spots.
Both very fast, according to Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator. And they'll keep it on the ground. Not a first down, though. Nick Singleton about a yard or a yard and a half shy.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer right now. Penn State just has to impact their wheel on this next play. They got to challenge those offensive linemen that we got to have this first down.
Penn State is 8 of 11 coming in on fourth down conversions this year. This is a big one. Obviously trailing by 13. 0 for 1 today from fourth down. And this time they've got it. Down inside the 40-yard line. First down,
they
Nittany
put
Lions.
that big overloaded to the left side, came out with a quick snap, walk up there and snap the ball, let your big offensive lineman get into somebody's shoulder pads and start to push it. Good job by the tight end that time. Luke Reynolds turned his end man.
Aller now back to the air. Maybe. Maybe not. He'll keep it. Aller, another big run, close to 10, and another first down.
What game was it, Nesta? Was it the Minnesota game or the USC game when fourth quarter that Drew had a couple long runs like that to keep drives alive?
I think he might have had it in both games, to be honest with you. He got 10. First down. Might be the final play of the third quarter from the 30-yard line. Singleton.
Nice play by that defense.
Isaiah Chisholm from the backside with a tackle to end quarter number 3. Both teams trying to win their first Big Ten game of the year. Time with the lead. Penn State hasn't had it, and UCLA coming in had never led at any point of the first 4 games of the season, and they've had the lead for over 40 minutes. But we still got 15 to go. Tatron Allen behind Drew Aller. They fake it to him. Aller in trouble. Late throw, wobbly and incomplete. The intended for
nice
Kyron
job.
Hudson.
Excuse me, nice job by Cole Martin that time. The free safety. He sees the crosser right here. Drew Aller steps up in the pocket, but the crossing route is taken away. Drew thinks he's going to go deep. He has to cut it off short. That is good defense by the safety, forcing the reroute from the slot receiver.
3rd down and 9 coming up for the Nittany Lions.
They brought the 2 youngsters in to rush the passer.
Reynolds, the tight end, settles in the slot. Aller looked like he wanted to run from the get-go. And he does, and he's got the first down and more. All the way down inside the 2-yard line.
7-man safety blitz. Everybody coming on the play.
On 3rd down and long, and Aller, number 15, takes it all the way down to the 1-yard line, or just inside the 2.
Cole Martin, the guy that just made the play, missed the tackle.
Tatron Allen, touchdown. Penn State.
You can't draw it up any better for a defensive coordinator. You've got a free shot at the quarterback for Penn State. They miss it. Every yard of this drive was on the ground for Penn State. They were calling passes, but they did not connect any.
And most of those ground yards were the quarterback until number 13 got his hands on it and into the end zone for the 2nd time today.
100%. He had 30 yards going into that last gain. Runs it down there. They had him dead in the pocket on the play, and they missed the tackle.
Ryan Barker in for the point after. It's a 1-possession game already. It's going to be a 6-point game if he hits this extra point. And we got a long way to go. Point after is good.
1-possession gain, but again.
That's a look at our IHG Hotels and Resorts game recap. Nico Iamaleava having an unbelievable day. Brad Nessler, Gary Anderson, Jenny Dell. I think if you'd have told me one of the quarterbacks would lead his team in rushing today, I might say it would be Nico. I didn't know what Drew Aller was going to do.
That seems almost possible. A 75-yard drive, all on the ground, but 57 of those yards by Drew Aller on the ground, all called pass plays that he scrambled on.
And now with this much time left, anything's possible.
Anything's possible. You got it. A 1-score game. Penn State scrambling to stay alive and not be embarrassed. Stay in the hunt for a playoff spot.
UCLA bring it out to the 25-yard line. Look at our Bruin mascot from the AT&T Pylon Cam. Just chilling on a beautiful day. Not a cloud in the sky. In Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. Now we got 14:26 to go.
Yeah, just amazing, this Penn State team, the way they've rallied in the second half. Remember, the finish of that first half was so bad.
Right.
Go into the locker room, they come out, get refocused, and put this into a game that they can still win.
Iamaleava in the shotgun. And he will run it here, but he's going to lose a yard. And a nice play by Amari Campbell. How many stops has that guy had today?
Yeah, this was a nice read by Amari this time. Reads the fake all the way. He's playing the quarterback. Do you blame him? I'm playing quarterback if I'm a linebacker right now.
Their leading tackler coming in, and nothing has changed here today for number 24. Iamaleava goes halfway over to the bench and now settles back in the gun, and he's under the gun. Blitz coming, and here he goes. Nico, another long run, still going. That's about 25 more, isn't it?
I'll tell you, it is so dangerous. You go man-to-man coverage against this guy, and you don't get the quarterback right away. I mean, he's in open space. I mean, it's like watching Vince Young as he gets out of the pocket right here.
Vince Young had a pretty good game here at one point.
Yes, he did.
Won a national championship.
Yep.
So another 26-yard romp for number 9.
you're going to play man-to-man, I think you got to spy. I mean, Ohio State put on a clinic against Amon Williams last week, the quarterback from Washington, by spying on him. They've got nobody assigned to the quarterback.
At midfield, there's the numbers on Nico. Sensational game. Now they grind out about 6 more for Javion Thomas.
Yeah, those are the plays that are shocking me. This offensive line for UCLA giving those running plays right at him, right into the teeth of this Penn State defensive line. Blocking well up front. Zane Durant that time blocked pretty well by the duo block from the center and the guard. Right at this defense.
Coming in, the Bruins at average 124 yards rushing a game. Nico's got that many by himself.
Jeez. And nearly all of them on called pass plays, though.
2 tight ends here at the 44-yard line, 2nd down and 4. And he wanted to take off again, got back to the line of scrimmage, but he brought down by Zane Durant off that defensive line.
When you're rushing a quarterback that leaves the pocket when he thinks he can get yards, you have to be able to retrace if you're one of those defensive tackles. That's exactly what Zane Durant does. Can't get there, retrace, and look for that quarterback coming up the middle.
And now 3rd down and 4 for the Bruins. With 11 and a half minutes remaining in regulation. 3 wide out group for Iamaleava as he takes a look at that Penn State defense. The throw is on target, and it's a 1st down, and it's Mikey Matthews.
I'll tell you, 9 for 12. UCLA is on 3rd down. The inside slot of the 3 goes across the line. Ball led perfectly, and the catch by Matthews.
They came in 31% on their 3rd down conversions through 4 losses, and as Gary said, they're putting on a 3rd down clinic right now. Nine for 12, 20 first downs, clock running, 10:45 to go. Two backs. And it'll be the second one spinning through, and that's Jalen Berger, who got about 5 quick yards.
Yeah, Zachy Wheatley that time came from the secondary, hit that play head on. But a good job by the lead black to take him on just enough. I think it was Anthony Frias that got that block on that play.
It was. So a good gain on the ground. They'll give him 4. We'll call it 2nd down and 6 as we approach 10 minutes. UCLA taking their time in the huddle. The snap will come with less than 10 to go. 5 runs, 1 pass in this drive so far. Iamaleava in trouble again. Nico throws late and overshot his intended receiver, who was Quasi Gilmer.
I think that time it was DeLuca that came off and forced Nico to throw that ball off the scramble. Let's see if it's number 0. It is. Number 0 comes up almost in a spy technique and forces the throw, the errant throw.
And he didn't have anything on that one. He had to go over DeLuca, and then on his release, just kind of fluttered out there, incomplete.
Let's see if Jim Knowles in Penn State comes after the quarterback here, trying to get him out of field goal range. A field goal is huge here.
3rd down and 6. Got Anthony Woods in the backfield with him. They'll move the tight end. It's Woods straight up the gut. Stumbled, he's short of the 1st down.
It's close. They did come with the late blitz right at the end. It's going to be about a half yard to a yard short.
And Wheatley's the guy that got him low, and he spins and rolls, but it's 4th down.
Hey, you're the interim head coach. You go for it on 4th and 1, don't you?
I love it.
You got him.
4th down and a yard. And they jump. They got him. It was Durant, I think.
That's the second time the second clap was going to be live. They went on the first clap, and the second time Penn State has given them the 1st down.
Here's the call.
Offside. Defense. 28. 5-yard penalty results.
some good cadence by the quarterback.
And that accomplishes 2 goals. Puts you, if worst case, closer to field goal range, but also eats another 2 minutes off the clock.
Right. They take their time in a huddle. As we're going to be under 9 minutes on the snap. Yall, that's a direct snap. He moved over, and they direct snap it to Anthony Woods. How about this play, and how about this call by Jerry Neuheisel?
Absolutely.
The quarterback shifted a yard to the right, and then it was Wild Bruin.
You knew he had this one in his pocket. I bet his dad gave him this play maybe 10 years ago, and he's been ready to call it, waiting for his chance. A little late shift, a late wildcat, and there he breaks into the open.
17 yards. What a call, what a play.
That's the call of the game so far.
And Anthony Woods is the guy that took it down the sideline before he shoved out at his first and goal. From the 8-yard line. And this time, Dennis Sutton denies any gain on the play. It's going to be a loss.
It almost looked like Yall that time was trying to get the ball out and keep it. But Dennis Sutton comes down. He's reading that play. It looked to me like he wanted to get the ball out. He turned around almost like it was a fumble on the play.
Under 8 minutes now. 6-point game. The Bruins have it backed out outside, I should say, the 10-yard line. Second down and goal.
Clock's running down.
The 7.5 at the snap. They keep it on the ground. Powering down to about the 7 is Javian Thomas. And that's third down and goal.
Just remember the value of a field goal here makes it a 9-point game.
And you can tell that the wheels are turning in that man's head and that man's as well. Third down and goal.
I like a rollout here. Keeping the ball in the quarterback, your best player's hands. If it's there, if it's wide open, throw it. But if not, run the ball and kick the field goal.
They've got it spread out. 3 wideouts and a tight end. Third and goal at the 7. Yall scans the field. Nico's going to take off. Nico to the end zone. Touchdown.
You mentioned Vince Young on this field to win the game. A play just like this in the other end zone. On 4th down, he kept it and scored the touchdown. Almost exactly the same type of play.
It gave Mac Brown a national championship. In this case, it could maybe give UCLA some hope for the future and their first win of the year.
I almost said this feels bigger. I know that would be stupid to say.
It's fun, though.
I know. Trust your quarterback on that play. They trusted him, and he came through.
Going for 2, a big shift to both sides. Empty backfield. Yall, Nico, look out. Got away, throws late. Touchdown, Quasi Gilmer, I should say, 2-point conversion.
Holy cow, and he got hit at the end of that play. A spin out. I think it was Alonzo Ford that hit him. There's been a lot of great plays by this quarterback for UCLA. But this play right here, a spin out and then getting his...
Change to offensive coordinator by Monday morning.
Absolutely. I mean, Rick Neuheisel might need a shower here after this game.
2-score game, 6:41 to go. Penn State has got all their timeouts remaining, but they're down 2 touchdowns.
And just as he let it go, everybody's going to help that guy up.
No kidding.
Just think about everything that's been said about this guy, you know, and he's coming through and playing like this. Give him all the credit in the world. Just toned it all out.
You know, we've seen just about week in and week out really great quarterback play in the Big Ten. Nothing's been better than this one.
Absolutely not.
So now Drew Aller and company has a sense of urgency for sure. Drew sidearmed it, or now he's going to run with it. And he's still running.
Unbelievable. He saw the kind of almost flat screen pass covered, so he just tucked it and turned it the other way.
I can't believe he could pull this ball back in. I thought it was coming out of his hand.
Number 1 receiver was covered. He had a little bit of a slip screen going on there. It wasn't there.
So he's got 11 yards and continues to be their leading rusher. This one he gets out to Katron Allen trying to do some open field running. And Katron got about 8. And we're going to be under 6 minutes on the next snap.
All 2-minute offense. All hurry up for the rest of the football game for Penn State.
And whistle.
I think UCLA has 12 men out there.
Greg Blum will have our call.
Pretty sure 12 men on the field.
There's no foul for 12 players in the defense because prior to the snap, not all 11 players for Penn State were set before the snap. That's a false start.
There we go.
5-yard penalty, second down.
Goes the other way.
Yeah, so the back judge threw 12 men on the field, and there were, but Penn State saw it and snapped it too quickly.
They tricked themselves a little bit there. Penalty yards relatively even. Aller fires complete to tight end Reynolds. And Luke is still going, holding on to the football as they're trying to rip it away from him.
When you're up like this, every second, every yard counts. The defense is trying to hold to the less than a first down so the clock doesn't stop.
First down at the 44 of the Bruins. Aller, he's going to run again. And got about 8 yards before he steps out of bounds. Clock stopped, 5:27 to go.
Yeah, it'll restart though.
Aller, that's a first down, but a big hit. Key Lawrence, and he keyed in on the tight end and made the stop, but it's a first down.
They did. Clock will stop quickly, move the chains, and then it'll restart. Penn State ready to go.
On the ground, Katron Allen trying to weave his way through traffic, gets it close to the 27. Scott Taylor made the stop there. We're under 5 minutes to go. Aller throws to the outside. Kind of a back shoulder toss intended for Ross, incomplete.
Penn State has substituted. It allows UCLA to get fresh bodies out on the field. They were sucking wind trying to rush the passer. A lot more energy to rush the passer than it is to pass block for the passer.
Third down and 4. 2-down territory here with 4:40 to go. 50% so far for the Nittany Lions today on third down. That's Dinkins, the tight end, in motion. Aller, quick throw to the middle. That's a first down and more. And it's Trevor Pena. First down, Nittany Lions. They'll move the sticks.
That middle screen to the wide receiver. Everybody has this play. Remember in college football, those linemen can go downfield.
So in the red zone at the 15. Aller to the end zone. Overshot his intended receiver, Kyron Hudson. Good coverage on Hudson over there.
It was. I think it was Roderick Pleasant that time, number 18. Kind of had his hands on him, but didn't really give him a big tug.
Lawrence was coming over from his safety spot to help out.
Nice composure on this 2-minute or 4-minute drive, whatever you want to call it, by Penn State. Hurry when they had to, calm down when they don't.
Carried him 60 yards so far to the 15-yard line. Aller now the fade to the corner, and it's caught. Touchdown, Hudson. perfect throw to Kyron Hudson and 15-yard touchdown.
You said it, because their defense was right in his hip pocket, exactly the way it's taught. Kyron does a good job, just a little bit of a shove, not too much, gets away with it, but a perfect throw. And Jordan had not much you can do with a throw like that.
Nope. So now the extra point coming up from Ryan Barker.
One of those 3 transfer receivers come through. Kyron, who played at USC a year ago, transfers here and comes through. What a drive by Penn State. Penn State came within 6 twice, but UCLA answered both times, and they needed the points.
They're going to come within 7 on that extra point, which is good. 42-35. 75-yard today.
Yeah, both teams have really answered the bell in the second half. Penn State obviously coming from behind, but UCLA answering the pressure all game. They got to do it again, though. Obviously, Penn State 3 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout. UCLA leads probably 3 first downs to get out of the game. And it depends how quick they get them.
Wosu will have to re-tee.
They're playing onside kick. They're almost forcing Penn State to kick the ball deep. I would pooch it deep, because there's only one guy back there. There's a lot of space between the 30-yard line and the goal line.
There sure is. Let's see how they play it.
Look at all that. One guy covering, from the 30-yard line to the goal line, 53 yards wide. There's the pooch. There's the pooch.
It goes right to the return man, though, at the 15-yard line.
Made it easy on him.
Well, it's been 16 straight losses to top 10 teams. The last time UCLA won one in 2010 was Rick Neuheisel's team, a win over 7th-ranked Texas. UCLA rushed for 264 yards, including an 11-yard touchdown by Jonathan Franklin. And quarterback Kevin Prince and the Bruins won 34-12 over Mack Brown and the Longhorns. By the way, the Nittany Lions have won 34 straight against unranked opponents. That sets the stage for you.
UCLA has only passed for 8 yards in the second half. You've got to force them to throw the ball.
They run it here, and they got a big gainer again. Got about 7 for Javion Thomas.
Iamaleava is 2 for 5 for 8 yards in the second half. The running game is what they've leaned on, albeit out of the quarterback scramble. I get it, but they have not forced UCLA to throw the ball. I'm going man-to-man with a spy and saying, you got to throw the ball to beat me.
Remember, I said earlier, UCLA's averaged 124 yards a game on the ground. Not today. 2nd down and 4.
Well, they're all up there. It's almost a goal line defense.
And banging his way down about a yard from the first down. For Javion Thomas, it's 3rd down and 1. And kind of a long one, in fact.
Remember, because of the fair catch, if the ball touches the line, it's like the goal line. It can be reviewed because they know where the first down line is. It's the 35.
They're going to be in the shotgun, though. So here comes the throw, wide open in the flat. Oh, boy, he fell down.
It was not a perfect throw.
Anthony Woods is going to be 4th down and about a foot and a half.
It was not a perfect throw. When you ask those running backs to spin and catch those back hip throws, they get discombobulated, and the spin was just short, less than a half a yard for the first down.
And they're going for it. 4th down and about the length of the football.
Well, I'm going for it, aren't you?
Yeah, we said that earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be in the shotgun.
Fake snap.
But
no.
Penn State will take over. first guys there. Deny Dennis Sutton.
I would try the fake snap at least. They did not. They went call at. They run the ball at the two best players for Penn State. Deny Dennis Sutton and Zane Durant. Look at the push that those two players get inside on this play. They blow it up before it gets started. Cleaned up from the secondary. And I wonder if Coach Skipper thought this ball was going to get snapped on this play, because he's looking at the clock and he's going, what happened? Weren't we going to try to draw him off? I think he thought they were going to try to draw him off with a clap. They did not.
Penn State's got it at the 32 of the Bruins with 2 timeouts, 2 minutes, I should say, and 3 timeouts.
Offsides, Penn State. They're pointing to UCLA.
Illegal snap. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I think
Nick Dawkins.
Yep. Did he wiggle that football? There's movement on the left side. Yeah, it was an illegal snap. People were not moving. He still got the ball in his hand as he brings it back.
Penn State has scored 3 consecutive touchdowns. They need one more with 2 minutes to go. Aller under center. The play fake. He's flushed out of the pocket again. He'll run again, but he didn't get as much this time. Got about 4. Jalen Woods made the tackle.
This time it was 3 against 1. He wasn't going to get out of this one.
Quick throw to the outside to Nick Singleton. Singleton weaving his way past the first down marker. And that's Nicholas Singleton's biggest play of the day so far.
When you have numbers, you throw the ball out there. Good formation, good quick recognition by the quarterback. 3-on-2. 2 blockers and a running back. That's the best you can have.
And now the line of scrimmage is the 17-yard line. 1:35 remaining in regulation. In the pistol, Aller and Singleton. That's Luke Reynolds, a motion man, the tight end. Aller throws, end zone just a little bit high for Reynolds.
Nice move by Reynolds, the tight end. Great athlete. Watch him go stutter and go right around him. Beats him cleanly that time. You got a great matchup inside against John Vaughn, the inside linebacker. That's the perfect matchup you wanted if you're the quarterback. Your athletic tight end against an inside linebacker.
Second down at 10. From the 17. Drew Aller's going to keep it on the ground to Singleton. UCLA's got him all wrapped up. He doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Jacob Busick, one of the first guys there. Clock running. Aller throws short to Reynolds, and he's got it down to the 10.
Now let's see what you're going to do on 4th down. You take a timeout because it's the play of the game. You got a defense that's breathing hard. You just try to run a play.
It's about 2.5 yards for a first down. Extra tight ends for the Nittany Lions.
Take a late timeout if you're UCLA. Yes, use as much clock as you can and take your timeout. Good job by Coach Skipper on that play. Walking down there, he knows, this works. Even if they score, they got time to come back and kick a field goal.
So a big 4th down upcoming. As we remind you, still to come, Adam, Aaron, Rick, if he still hasn't had a heart attack, and BJ share their insights on this one and bring you the day's best highlights on the U.S. Army postgame show. The last 0-4 or worse team to beat a top 10 opponent, I think Zook told you at halftime, 40 years ago, UTEP over BYU.
So what do you call here if you're Andy Kolenicki? You don't have that running quarterback that you can depend upon like Nico. You make it a passing play with your
empty backfield right now, so if it's a run, it's going to be Drew Aller. Well, now Singleton joins him. Penn State 1 out of 2 on 4th down today. This is the play of the game. And it is going nowhere. The Bruins have stopped the Nittany Lions, and they will upset the number 7 team in the country.
It was a pull and a quarterback keep, and Scooter Jackson went with the quarterback all the way. They were going to fake the sweep, and watch. Drew Eller is going to keep it, but he runs right into the tackle. What a play. The hope for Penn State is they have all 3 timeouts left.
And Scooter Jackson looked more like a Harley Davidson on that one.
Game not over. 3 timeouts. And remember, they've already blocked the punt.
Scooter gets a big hug from his quarterback on the sideline, and Skipper with his reaction. In the shotgun, on the ground, loss of a couple. Timeout. All right, 2 timeouts left for Penn State, 34 seconds.
Somebody's got to be looking for this quarterback on every play.
Oh, the ball is bobbled, but
holy cow.
Ooh. And Javion Thomas almost dropped it.
Oh, cow. How about the pass to the running back in the flat that could have maybe ended this football game? Now a quick pitch that almost was a disaster.
Now it's 3rd down.
I think UCLA will go into this huddle and discuss whether if it's another quick stop, they should go for a safety and try to kill 6 or 8 seconds. Do they really want to punt out of their own end zone here? So if they kill, let's say 3, 4, 5 seconds on this next run, get it to 26, let's say 25, and if they can take 5 seconds off on a safety where the punt man runs around in the end zone and
they get a
steps
free
out,
kick.
and then they get a free kick.
It's not a bad idea.
It's a danger because you put a touchdown, you lose the game, but at this point, I think you have to put that in your playbook and think about that.
It's a lot of wheels turning. Iamaleava in the gun on 3rd down and 11. Run straight up the middle. And the whistle blows at 25 seconds.
So let's suppose on this punt they run around and take a safety and kill 7 seconds. I think that's what I would do.
We're back. There's 25 left in regulation.
Let's see if they take the safety or not. Punter's in the game.
That's Will Carroll, who's already had 1 blocked for a touchdown by Liam Clifford. And he's going to do what Gary said, as much time as possible. Waiting, out the back of the end zone.
Well, Penn State had no one rushing the punter. They did not come after the punter. They gave him an extra, I'd say 5 seconds on the play. They did not anticipate this. Watch this. Nobody rushes.
And
they're just standing there.
So he got to take 8 seconds before he just backpedals out of the end zone.
Not anticipated. Penn State did not anticipate that safety call from UCLA.
Now you got a free kick coming up. Penn State out of timeouts. Strategy so far.
I know, but you throw it into the end zone and alley-oop for a touchdown. You'd say, all right, that didn't work. Sometimes the right strategy is debatable. I like it, though. That's what I would have done.
And that's what you called, and you were correct. I think they've got teams on the wrong end, don't they?
Yeah, they were switching for some reason.
I don't know. Maybe they're anticipating overtime.
No.
Let's bring it back to the other end where it makes more sense. The free kick will come from the 20. James Franklin making sure he's got 11 guys out there.
I don't even know if overtime is possible. If they score, it'll be a win.
Martin Bagani. It'll be a free kick by the kicker. Sometimes you can use the punter as well. But he's got a big leg, and he's going to try to use it right here.
You know, Penn State is going to get a couple throws into the end zone here. No doubt about that.
Drew Aller is got it all strapped up and waiting. But first things first, the kickoff upcoming. Corey Smith is the deepest of the Nittany Lions. Kick is a good one. Stays in the field of play at the 7 to Corey Smith. This is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be 12 seconds left. Here you go. No timeouts. A lot of ground to cover. And it's only a touchdown that can help you.
I think only Doug Flutie can throw the ball this far and get it into the end zone. Penn State needs at least one completion to get it in range to throw to the end zone.
Yeah, they'd love to get it to about the UCLA 45 and then have a crack at it.
Or as Rick Neuheisel might say, Cordell Stewart could do it.
Aller going to throw short to Singleton, and that didn't get much.
No, that wasn't enough. You got to throw the ball. You got to throw a ball deep across the middle. Well, it's going to be dangerous. They needed that first one to be a deep squaring.
No doubt.
This has got to be like a 10-yard out now to the sideline.
And then he's going to have to throw it a mile.
Because if you complete over the middle of the field, you might not have time to spike it. It's got to be outside of 3 seconds. I think that's the number.
Second down. He didn't get anything out of that swing pass. It's second down and 10. That's irrelevant at this point. Aller, a lot of time. He's going to throw too far out to the bench, and now there's one play left.
Now almost all they have is the lateral play.
Let's see if they got a hook and ladder in their repertoire. "46 games," I mentioned earlier, without losing back-to-back games. They're 2 seconds away from erasing that graphic. Final play of the game, barring a penalty. Aller, there's the hook, and the lateral.